my wife casually said. My ex will be joining us for Christmas dinner. Just be mature about it. I kept a slight smile and replied, of course, no problem. What she didn't know was, I had a surprise of my own. On the night of the dinner, the doorbell rang, and when her ex's fiancé walked in, the whole room fell silent. What happened in the next few minutes is something not just my family, but even she will never forget. Dear friends, I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers. Please support me by subscribing to my channel. Every single sub counts and means a lot. Thank you. I'm 29, married for 3 years, and until about 6 months ago, I thought I had the perfect life. My wife, let's call her Rachel, was everything I thought I wanted. Smart, ambitious, beautiful. We met in college, dated for 4 years, got married in this picture-perfect ceremony her parents paid for. I worked my ass off to give us a comfortable life, and she worked in marketing at a tech startup that demanded crazy hours but paid well. Here's the thing nobody tells you about marriage. Sometimes the person you think you know becomes a complete stranger. It started in July. Rachel had been distant for weeks, always on her phone, always working late. I'm not an idiot, but I'm also not the type to snoop. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. One night, I came home early from a business trip. The house was empty, but her laptop was open on the kitchen counter. A message notification popped up. I wouldn't have looked, I swear, but I saw the name, Drew, her ex-boyfriend from college. The guy she dated for 2 years before we got together. The guy she always said was just a friend whenever his name came up. I clicked it. I'm not proud, but I clicked it. The messages went back months. Flirty at first, then explicit. Plans to meet up. Hotels. Detailed descriptions of what they'd done together. My stomach turned as I scrolled. There were photos, videos, things I can't unsee. But here's where it gets interesting. Drew was engaged to some woman named Cassidy who, according to the messages, had no idea her fiancé was screwing his ex-girlfriend twice a week in airport hotels. I sat there for 2 hours, just reading. Rachel came home around 10 p.m., saw me at the laptop, and the color drained from her face. It's not what you think, she started. Really? I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. Because I think you've been fucking your ex-boyfriend for the past 6 months while I've been busting my ass to pay for this house we live in. She cried. She begged. She said it meant nothing, that Drew had reached out to her during a vulnerable time, that she never meant to hurt me. All the greatest hits of cheater excuses. I told her to sleep in the guest room. I needed time to think. Update 1. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I did what any self-respecting person would do in 2024. I became a detective. I found Drew's Instagram. Public profile, because of course it was. He was one of those guys, finance bro, expensive suits, posts about grinding and winning. His fiancée, Cassidy, was all over his feed. She seemed nice. Genuine. A kindergarten teacher with a warm smile and pictures of her classroom decorated with student artwork. She had no idea she was marrying a cheater. I created a burner email and spent 3 hours drafting a message to her. I attached screenshots of the conversations between Rachel and Drew, redacting only the most explicit parts. I included dates, hotel names, everything. I ended with, I'm sorry you're finding out this way. You deserve better. I sent it at 3 a.m. and immediately felt sick. Not guilty, just sick. Like I'd stepped into a world I didn't recognize. The next morning, Rachel tried to talk. She made coffee, sat across from me at the kitchen table, and launched into this whole speech about how she loved me, how she'd made a mistake, how it would never happen again. I want to work on us, she said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. Did Drew tell Cassidy yet? Her face went white. What? His fiancé. Did he tell her he's been cheating? I don't know. That's not our business. It became our business when you decided to fuck him in hotel rooms, I said. So I told her. Rachel exploded, screaming about how I had no right, how I was vindictive, how I was trying to ruin her life. I just sat there, drinking my coffee, letting her scream herself out. When she finally stopped, I said, I haven't decided if I'm divorcing you yet, but I need space. I'm staying at my brother's for a few days. I packed a bag and left. Update 2. 3 days later, Cassidy responded to my email. Thank you for telling me. I confronted Drew. He denied everything at first, then admitted to one mistake. I showed him your screenshots. We're done. I'm calling off the wedding. I'm also a petty person, apparently, Because I want him to suffer the way I'm suffering right now. If you're open to it, I'd like to talk. We met at a coffee shop near her school. She was smaller in person, with red eyes that told me she'd been crying for days. We talked for 2 hours. She showed me the ring Drew had given her, a massive diamond she'd already taken off. We compared notes on our partners' lies, their timelines, their excuses. They deserve each other, she said bitterly. They really do, I agreed. Then she said something that changed everything. Drew's family is hosting a big Christmas dinner this year. His parents, siblings, everyone. He told me Rachel would be there as a friend because they've stayed close over the years. I was going to go as his fiancée and meet everyone for the first time. An idea formed. A terrible, petty, perfect idea. What if, I said slowly, we both showed up? She stared at me. Then a smile crept across her face. Are you serious? Dead serious. We spent the next hour planning. Update 3. Rachel came back to the house a week later. I'd had time to think, time to process. I'd also had time to talk to a lawyer, open a separate bank account, and secure copies of all our financial documents. I wasn't an idiot. When she walked in, she looked hopeful. Can we talk? Sure, I said. We sat in the living room. She apologized again, cried again, promised again. Then she said something that made my blood boil. I know this is hard for you, but I think we should host Christmas dinner this year. My family, your family, a fresh start. And, she paused. Drew's going through a rough time. His engagement ended. I thought it would be nice to invite him. Show we can all be mature adults. I almost laughed. The audacity. You want to invite your affair partner to Christmas dinner? I said. He's not. It's over between us. I just think it would show we're moving past this. That we're strong enough. I pretended to consider it. Okay. Really? She looked shocked. Yeah. Invite him. Let's be mature about it. She hugged me. I didn't hug back. Over the next few weeks, Rachel planned the dinner. She cleaned the house, ordered food, sent invitations. She was in full hostess mode, acting like everything was fine, like she hadn't blown up our marriage. I played along. I smiled. I helped set up. I confirmed with Cassidy over text that she was still game for our plan. The night arrived. Rachel's parents came first, then mine. My brother knew what was happening. I'd told him everything, and he could barely contain his grin. Drew showed up around 6 p.m., carrying wine and wearing that smug finance bro smile. Rachel introduced him as an old friend. My mom gave me a look. She knew. We sat down for appetizers. Small talk. Drew kept glancing at Rachel when he thought no one was looking. She avoided eye contact with him, playing the perfect wife. Then the doorbell rang. Rachel frowned. Who's that? Everyone's here. I invited someone, I said, standing up. Just be mature about it. I opened the door. Cassidy stood there in a red dress, holding a bottle of champagne, looking absolutely stunning. Hi, she said loudly, stepping inside. I'm Cassidy, Drew's ex-fiancée. The room went silent. Drew stood up so fast his chair fell over. What the fuck? Sit down, I said calmly. We're all adults here. Rachel's face was pure panic. What is this? Cassidy walked straight to the dining table and set down the champagne. This is me being mature. Your husband invited me after he told me you've been sleeping with my fiancée for 6 months. Former fiancée, I should say. My mother gasped. Rachel's dad said, What? Drew tried to leave. My brother blocked the door. Sit down, I repeated. They sat. I pulled out my phone and opened the screenshots. Since we're all here, let's clear the air. Rachel, you told me Drew was going through a rough time and needed support. What you didn't mention is that his rough time started when Cassidy found out he'd been cheating on her. With you. I handed my phone to Rachel's mother. She read, her expression hardening with every swipe. You told me it was over, Rachel hissed at Drew. You told me we'd stop. Drew shot back. Oh, this is rich, Cassidy said, pouring herself champagne. He told me you seduced him, that you were obsessed. That's bullshit, Rachel yelled. It devolved from there. Accusations flew. Rachel's parents demanded answers. My parents sat in stunned silence. Drew tried to spin some story about how I'd manipulated the situation, but Cassidy cut him off with a detailed timeline that contradicted every word. Finally, my dad stood up. Son, do you want us to stay? No, I said. I think we're done here. My family left. Rachel's family left. Cassidy finished her champagne, kissed me on the cheek, and whispered, Merry Christmas, you petty genius. Then she left too. It was just Rachel, Drew, and me. Get out, I told Drew. He left without a word. Rachel tried to talk, but I held up my hand. I filed for divorce yesterday. You'll get the papers next week. I've documented everything. You're not getting a cent beyond what's legally required, and I will fight you on that. We're done. She cried. She begged. She said I'd humiliated her. You humiliated yourself, I said. Now get out. Final update. That was 3 weeks ago. Rachel moved in with her parents. Drew's family apparently disowned him after Cassidy sent them the evidence. He lost his job, something about moral character clauses in his contract. Cassidy and I have stayed in touch. Not romantically, just as friends who survived the same betrayal. She's doing better. So am I. The divorce is moving forward. My lawyer says it'll be finalized by spring. I spent New Year's Eve with my brother, drinking beer and watching bad movies. It was the best night I'd had in months. I don't regret what I did. Some people might call it petty. Maybe it was. But watching Rachel's face when Cassidy walked in, seeing Drew squirm when his lies collapsed, worth every second. Edit 1. A lot of people are asking if Cassidy and I are dating now. We're not. We're genuinely just friends. We've both got healing to do. Edit 2. Drew tried to contact me last week through a mutual friend, asking me to clear the air. I blocked him. There's nothing to clear. Edit 3. Rachel's been posting cryptic quotes on social media about toxic people and moving on. I've muted her on everything. Not my circus anymore.